The Red Sox just aren't very good. They're just not a good baseball team. And if you want to see what the 2025 Red Sox are and don't want to torture yourself by actually watching them play a game, go to Netflix and go watch The Clubhouse. It's not very good. It's not very entertaining, but you'll get an idea of what the 2024 Red Sox were. And that's exactly what the 2025 Red Sox are. This season comes in with so much hope, so much expectation, so much newness to this team. And really, what this team is in the middle of April is last year's team. They're not any better. None of the things you circled in the offseason that you were like they really need to improve on have they improved on, except getting an ace starting pitcher. And I think what this stretch will show you is that is, of course, important, but it is not the end-all, be-all. Because Garrett Crochet has been as advertised, and you're thinking that extension is going to be a bargain. And yet we're still sitting here talking about this team sucks. And they do. An eighth of the way through the season or whatever it is. They stink. 8-10. You lose the series to the team that was the worst team in the history of modern baseball last year and didn't get any better in the offseason, the Chicago White Sox. They had lost 8 or 9 in a row until you rolled into town. And then it was, the weather's bad. It's so cold. Oh, my God, it's so cold in Boston. It's so cold in Chicago. Is it cold in Tampa? What's the weather like in Tampa right now? 75 and sunny, too cold for you? Because that was the worst loss they've had in 3 years. 16-1. What a fucking joke. And oh, yeah, by the way, it's cold in April. It's cold in October. Toronto had to play in the cold. They kicked your ass. The White Sox, the worst team in modern baseball, they played the same temperature as you did this weekend, and they fucking kicked your ass. So cut it out with the weather. This team sucks. I'm sorry. I know it's early in the season, and we all had hope for this, but this right now is exactly what it was in 2024. Same thing. Suspect pitching rotation, check. Nothing fixed there. No Giolito, no Bayo. Dick Fitz, not very good. Walker Buehler, not very good. So you haven't fixed that. Okay. How about third base production? Haven't fixed that. How about infield defense? Haven't fixed that. Shortstop production, marginally better. Center field production with Sanan Rafaela out there, haven't fixed that. Need another season where Jarren Duran is a top 10 MVP vote getter? That's not happening so far. Oh, you missed your first baseman for all of last year. You need better first base production. He's back, and you haven't fixed that either. Infield defense, fucking horrible. Worst in the league. 5 errors against the White Sox the other night. Tanner Houk, question marks about his spring. You know, did they push him too far last year? Spring training really sucked. Oh, don't worry. Once he gets into the regular season, it will all just be okay. It will just all click. That's what happens in baseball. That's what happens with guys like Tanner Houk. How about this? His last spring training start against Tampa, by the way, 3 2/3, 12 hits, 10 runs, 10 earned runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, and a homer. How about his last regular season outing against Tampa last night? 2 1/3, 10 hits, 12 runs, 11 earned runs, 2 walks, a strikeout, and 2 homers. 11 earned runs in 2 1/3 innings. He gave up more than twice as many earned runs than he got outs. What is the magic fix here? Because, of course, we want to see Marcelo Meyer. We want to see Roman Anthony. But those guys don't fix this right here. They don't fix a team that scored 18 runs last Sunday and in the 8 games since have scored 15. They don't fix the fact that this team leads the league in strikeouts. and has hit 2 homers in the last week. So much for the bat-to-ball ability. So much for the drive line, putting the ball in play. They are the most strikeouts in the league, and they are the worst team with runners in scoring position in baseball. That is the antithesis of putting the fucking baseball in play. Left side of your infield stinks defensively. 2 Gold Glovers out there, and they both stink. And now, magically, 18 games into the season with an 8-10 record, we're having a serious thought about, do you just need to put Devers back at third base? Let him suck, but at least, I don't know, it gets some people more engaged. Because Bregman has not been this great revelation at third base defensively. He's still a better defender than Rafi Devers, but he's booting balls out there too. Jarren Duran's throwing the balls to the wrong base. Trevor Story committing errors, starting to hit a little bit. Tristan Casas, who you just missed so much in 2024. And, we just get Casas back. There's your reward. You got Casas back. 2 weeks into the season, you have to move him off the cleanup spot because he's so horrid. You put him at 6, he's not much better. And you're saying, maybe if Wilyer Abreu hits 420 for the entire season, we'll be okay with this lineup. I don't like saying a team gets lucky to win, but let's look at it realistically since that 18 to whatever win against the Cardinals last Sunday. You were lucky to win that game that you did against Toronto. Lucky. Like two guys in the 10th or 11th inning, whatever they wanted in, are hit by pitches, one of them with 2 strikes. And you win on a squib ground ball with the infield in, booted by a platinum glover. That's lucky. That's a lucky win. So you take that luck out of it, you get swept in 4 games by Toronto, who was supposed to finish last in your division this year, and then you lose the first 2 to Chicago, and you need your ace, the one guy you have this year, to take a no-hitter into the 8th inning to beat the worst team in modern baseball history. That's all you needed to scratch out 2 wins in the last week. This team's a fucking joke, man. They're a joke. And I wonder when we start looking at the manager for some of this. Alex Cora, the player's manager. Really? Because all there was drama in the offseason. All there was drama in spring training, and there's goddamn drama with these players every single year. Every year there's drama. But he'll get them back to fundamental baseball. Really? They don't know what bases to throw to. They're booting it everywhere. They're committing 5 errors in a single game. What I've always knocked him for is he hasn't had his starting pitching ready. Ever, really. The starting pitchers are never ready to start a season for this Red Sox team. Do I need to bring the lines back up again? Tanner Houk's last spring training start versus what he had last night? Like, it's all the same shit every year, man. It's the same crap. Their offense is horrid. They can't put the ball in play. Their defense is just as bad. Their starting pitching is brutal 2 through 5. And I don't know how much better it gets when Brian Bayo gets back based off what he gave you last year. Because he was a guy you extended to an 8-year deal as your opening day starter. And 1 year later, you said, oh boy, we need to go out there and trade prospects for an ace. So I don't know how much better that gets when Bayo steps back onto the field. But it will be the hitting coach. It will be the pitching coach. Those guys will be canned before anyone comes near Alex Cora. Because these slow starts, they happen all the time under him. And by the way, the only 2 times that the Red Sox have had a winning record through 20 games under Alex Cora, they've gone to the playoffs. The only 2 times were 2018 and 2021. His only 2 playoff appearances with the Red Sox. The rest have not been that, and this is not going to be that. The best they could be is 10-10 through 20 games. So they're not going to eclipse a winning record through the first 20 games. And you're looking at, what, 2-3 last place finishes in there in his tenure? A super disappointing season, albeit with a winning record in 2019. Like, how are we kidding ourselves? What are we set up for here? This team has more talent than last year on paper, but you don't win games on paper. And you certainly don't win it with the Microsoft Excel spreadsheet the way they're running it. You know, some organizations that works. And this organization, it used to work. But clearly this approach is not the approach. That was an absolute massacre last night. Massacre. You know, I'm sitting there. I'm out in the second inning, and I come back, and it's 5-0, and you're like, oh, good Lord, man. Then Christian Campbell homers, the only guy who's hitting for this team consistently, and you're like, okay, sign of life here. You got one back. Now you need a shutdown inning in the bottom of the third. What you got was the worst inning by the Red Sox in 3 years. Since they gave up like 27 runs in that game to Toronto a couple years ago with Sidney Sweeney and Jared Duran looking for the fly ball. Because then the absolute fucking wheels fall off. 30-minute half inning, 9 runs. Tanner Houk is nowhere near getting through it. And all of a sudden it's 14-1. And the most amazing part about this game last night was that the Rays only scored 2 runs in the last 6 innings. 5 innings. 16-1 to Tampa in a minor league ballpark. And you expect us to be like, yeah, this is the year for the postseason? God, I hope they don't go to the postseason. It's cold in October. They can't play in the cold. I can't believe how much bitching I'm hearing about the weather. Now it's shut down because Tampa's not cold. And you got your ass kicked again. Like, this is a team full of losers, is what it is. Devers has won a World Series with the team. Bregman's obviously won 2 World Series. But then it's a team full of losers, man. Casas, Story, Duran, Abreu. These guys haven't won. They don't win anything. Garrett, Crochet. These guys do not win, man. And what do you know? They're losing out of the gate. Maybe my favorite stat from last night. Not from last night's game, but was tweeted out last night. This guy, Boston Sports Gordo, on Twitter. You want hope? The Red Sox started 14-18 through May 6th in 2011. Last place. But by May 26th, they were 28-22, and they were in first. It can turn around fast. They were 83-52 on August 31st. It's a long season. Remember how great 2011 was? Remember that great glory of 2011? Remember how awesome it was that they were in first place on August 31st? You remember how they didn't make the playoffs a month later? Remember how they went 7-20 after that? So yeah, I'm looking for my hope from the 2011 Red Sox. God, I hope they turn it around and piss all the way down their leg in September, because that is when it starts to get chilly again. Like, find me a stat that gives you some hope about this Red Sox team. I'm telling you, right now, they have not improved on anything from last year other than getting an ace starting pitcher, which is great. But it is not the end-all, be-all. That one good starting pitcher does not get you into the playoffs. You know what team had one ace starting pitcher last year? The White Sox. They had the guy you have right now. And look at the wonders it did for them. It's exhausting watching this team, man. It really is. They suck at every part of the game right now. 2 homers in a week for this offense. 15 runs in 8 games. How are you going to beat anybody? How are you going to beat anybody doing that?